Hello, we're Meet. So, I want to review a tarot deck. It's my most recent one that I've got. I bought it only, I think I got it a week ago or so. I haven't had it so that long. Anyway, it's the Romantic Tarot. This is published by Los Carabeo and it's by Emanuela Signorini. And the artwork is by Julia F. Masaglia. I think that's how it's pronounced, but you can see for yourself. These people made it. Anyway, this is a little bit fairy tale like romance type deck that I think can be very good to all kinds of basically readings for the matter of the heart. But it can work as a general deck as well. But let's have a look at it, shall we? Little white book, come out. Here we go. Like usual, let's start with the little white booklet. Now, Los Carabeo had a general theme for their little white books lately, and that is that while it looks fairly thick, it's 4 or 5 languages in here. It's in English, Italian, Spanish, French, and Deutsch. So it's only 15 pages or so per language. So what do you get? You get a bit of an explanation of the deck, why the authors made the deck and so on. And basically an explanation, because this is one of the decks that has different names for the suits. So then we have Charleses are now Venice, Pentacles are now Rome, Wands are Paris, and Swords are Vienna. So yeah, then it has something I do like, that is that it has layout that as far as I know, is unique for this booklet. I do like that, because then I get a little bit extra I won't get anywhere else. And I do really like to read about various forms of tarot layouts and such. You can say I collect them. It explains how to use that, and then you have definitions on the major arcana here, which is basically about 3 lines per card, so not very much. And then we go to the little arcana, which also gets about 3 lines per card, so not really a lot. I would recommend that if you are going to be buying this deck, then you get a tarot book. I usually recommend that in either case, but really, they are really skimping on the little white books. Currently, at least that was Los Carabeo do. So you cannot get by just by that. You cannot just buy the deck and then get by with that and then just think that, yeah, I'll buy a book to learn more later. No, you need a book or a web page that will tell you about the cards, and you need that immediately. You cannot just start reading with that, because really, other than the explanation of why they have done changed up the suites a little bit, which is important, and the actual layout, that little white book is useless. So let's get on to the cards. Come out here, cards. So yeah, we of course have the these intro cards that somehow always gets tangled up in the reading. And a thank you note, actually. That's a nice touch. Thank you note from the client. So yeah, it's basically a thank you note and an advertisement in the same thing. So yeah, let's get started. As you can see, the deck is colorful. It have I don't know, Victorian style, most of it, though it also goes into a little bit of a 1900s, 1940s, around so style to it. It's look like old storybooks or old comics. I think it's rather pretty. I would call it, yeah, a light Victorian fairy tale type style, if I were gonna describe it. I do like the colors. There's lots of details in the cards. The symbolism is definitely based on the Rider-Waite. So if you are familiar with the Rider-Waite deck, you should have no problem. The symbolism is not as gimmicky as a lot of Low Scarabæo's theme deck. This is very much a general tarot deck, which is a pretty decent one. It does have a romance theme, but it's not so much so that it can't be used for general readings. There's all of these little details everywhere that are a wealth of symbolic information when you read, especially if you read intuitively. Now, some of them don't necessarily fit perfectly, like this Paris wheel that doesn't really speak of me as the Wheel of Fortune, but yeah, most of them are pretty damn good. I also actually like these borders around here. Of course, for those of you who do not like borders, those kinds of decorated borders tends to be a pain, because it makes it so much more difficult to cut the deck properly and just have the pictures. But I think it's pretty. So yeah, I am pretty pleased with the pictures, the symbolism, the color scheme, and all this is a very good deck. This is actually a pretty good beginner deck because it do have the typical Rider-Waite symbolism. And while I do actually recommend all beginners start with an actual Rider-Waite deck as a second deck, for example, this I think would be pretty good. And the symbols are relatively easy to understand, and the cards are pretty. Did I mention that? They are very pretty. So yeah, show you a few more here. Also show the back of the cards. It's this old-fashioned rose pattern which fit with the theme of the deck and is reversible, which is always a good thing, and it's also very pretty. The card quality is actually pretty good. This is the best card stock I have seen from a Low Scarabæo deck in a couple of years, so I am pleased. Let me just finish showing you the Major Arcana here. I'm not gonna go through every card in the Little Arcana because then we will be here until tomorrow, but yeah. So yeah, now, as you can see here, here's a card from the Little Arcana. The Ace of Venice, as they so nicely want to call it. And here's the Major Arcana. As you can see, the borders are different color. I'm not sure if I like that. I think the borders would have been better if it was all the same color. You just have a uniformity through the deck, but it's not a major problem. The deck is all illustrated, meaning that all the Minor Arcana cards have illustrations on it. It's not just pips and such. But let me show you some other sweets. That I call it Venice and Rome and so on and so forth doesn't really change that much. Though I will say that, so for example, see there's a little coin, it's pentacles. But it's the pentacles, cups, staves, and so on and so forth is less evident here. For example, here you see the Four of Pentacles. There's not a lot of coins in this picture. So not all of them have that classical imagery, but they still work when it comes to the essence of those cards. So yeah, show you a few more ones here. So some of them, as you see, have the more classical symbolism, but others do not. So yeah, there's not really that much to say about this deck. It's less of actually I would say it's not at all a novelty deck, as a lot of low-scale bio decks are, that has a very specific theme and so on. This is a very classical tarot deck that just have a bit of a romantic feel to it, but really the most thematic about it is the art style and the sort of, actually this is not necessarily Victorian but more Edwardian, I think. Edwardian, yes, definitely Edwardian, fairy tale style type imagery, which is pretty good. I'll give this deck 8 out of 10. It's a very good deck. It's not something amazing that basically everybody's going to be talking about, but all in all, I like it. It's a good deck. So yeah, just put everything back together again here. It seems like Los Caribbean has taken some grips to improve the quality of the card stock. That is very welcome, because for some of their decks it has been horrible. But for this one it was pretty good. So yeah. Down we go. And come on, don't be bothersome. There we go. Into the box. That's my review of the Romantic Tarot. Oh yeah, I recommend this one. It's a good one. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Have a great day, and blessed be.